The three meridians, all of which are incomparably mysterious, beyond the cognition of ordinary martial artists, and even beyond the martial arts. Otherwise, with Zhang Ruokan's talent in the previous life, it is impossible not to open it up. Chakra is the annual ring of a warrior. Ordinary people only know that trees will grow a circle of annual rings, but after cultivating the 9 Ming Emperor Sutras, Zhang Ruokan knows that martial artists can also cultivate annual rings. Only a martial artist who has opened up a chakra in his skin can cultivate the annual ring. Each layer of annual rings is a layer of leather armor. Every additional year of cultivation will increase the annual rings, and the skin's defense will increase accordingly. The annual rings of the warrior are extremely thin and cannot be seen by the naked eye. Even if you cultivate for 100 years and cultivate 100 layers of annual rings, the thickness of your skin is no different from that of ordinary people. The defensive power of the skin has reached an incomparably terrifying level, and it can definitely be invulnerable to flames. The blood-spirit vein refers to the meridians that are connected to the blood. Blood is in a liquid state, and wanting to cultivate a gaseous meridian in liquid blood is completely beyond the cognition of ordinary people. Even Zhang Ruokan was wondering, did the spiritual vein really exist? The soul vein is even more mysterious. According to the record of the 9 Heavens Ming Emperor Sutra, it is the meridian that exists in the soul of the warrior, connecting the body and soul of the warrior. Once the soul vein is cultivated, the martial artist can see his own soul, and even go out of the body. With a single thought, the soul can fly thousands of miles away and see what is happening thousands of miles away. The chakra, blood-spirit vein, and soul vein are too mysterious and beyond the cognition of normal martial artists, so Zhang Ruokan failed to open up these three meridians in his last life. In this life, Zhang Ruokan can't let go of any opportunity to improve himself. If he can open up these three meridians, his physique will definitely be stronger than in the previous life. The chakras are the most likely of the three meridians, and there may be a chance to open up success. Zhang Ruokan stared at the meridian diagram, and tried his best to comprehend the chakra, wanting to open up this meridian in the skin. It took 9 days for Zhang Ruokan to have some comprehension, and he mobilized his true qi to pour into his skin, but he couldn't succeed in anything, and instead made himself hurt all over his body. Don't chakras exist at all? Zhang Ruokan's whole body was covered with beads of sweat, and the clothes on his body were soaked. In the Chenkin Divine Wood diagram, a voice sounded, "Young man, it's not that the chakras don't exist, it's just that the method you used was wrong." My approach is wrong. What's the right way to do that? Zhang Ruokan said. Release me out, and I will tell you. Don't worry, this seat has no bad intentions, even if it wants to be unfavorable to you, isn't there still Chenkin Shenmutu suppressing it? With just one thought, you can put this seat back into the picture. The voice said. As soon as Zhang Ruokan's thoughts moved, the Chenkin Shenmu diagram immediately flew out from the center of his eyebrows. He pinched the Chenkin Shenmu diagram in his hand, injected true qi, unlocked the seal, and released the black giant cat. Now you can say it. How can we open up the chakras? Zhang Ruokan said. The black giant cat said, the answer is in your hands. In my hands. Zhang Ruokan looked at the heavenly divine tree in the picture scroll, and suddenly, as if he had an understanding, he said, Heavenly divine tree. The black giant cat nodded and said, if you think of yourself as a human being, you naturally can't open up chakras. If you think of yourself as a tree, maybe it won't be difficult. Hearing this, Zhang Ruokan's heart flashed, and he finally walked out of the previous blind spot, and immediately sat cross-legged on the ground, staring at the heavenly divine tree in the picture scroll, imagining that he was the heavenly divine tree. For 2 days, Zhang Ruokan's body was motionless, like a 10,000-year-old divine tree, and even his breathing seemed to stop. At this moment, he had entered a realm of mystery, and under the control of his unconscious, he swallowed a bottle of marrow washing liquid into his abdomen, and immediately began to open up the chakras. An hour later, the surface of Zhang Ruokan's skin exuded a faint halo. A thin white thread flowing over his skin, was like a large net that enveloped his body. He really succeeded in opening it up. Nima, do chakras really exist? The black cat's eyes widened in amazement. Actually, it didn't know the chakra at all, and just wanted Zhang Ruokan to let it out, so he said it casually. It worked. Zhang Ruokan was extremely excited, and finally opened up the chakra successfully. A light-like meridian that weaves through the skin. As long as he runs his true qi, the surface of his skin is like an extra layer of invisible armor. Even if he stood still, an ordinary blade would not be able to pierce his skin at all. This is the 24th meridian. Zhang Ruokan's confidence increased greatly, and he immediately continued to open up the meridians and hit the Great Pole of the Yellow Pole realm. It took another 4 days to open up a total of 27 meridians, and finally reach the realm of the Great Pole of the Yellow Pole realm. After the realm breakthrough, the capacity of the Qi pool was expanded tenfold. 27 meridians, that's great. As long as you continue to work hard, you will definitely be able to surpass the previous life. With my current strength, it is estimated that I can knock the martial artists of the Yellow Extreme Realm Great Perfection out with a single punch. The martial artist of the Great Perfection of the Yellow Extreme Realm can burst out with the power of 25 bulls. When Zhang Ruokan had just broken through the extreme position in the Yellow Extreme Realm, he could burst out with the power of 25 bulls when he cast the Dragon Elephant Palm. When his cultivation reached the peak of the extreme position in the Yellow Extreme Realm, he was even more able to burst out with the power of 36 bulls. Now, break through to the Great Pole of the Yellow Pole realm. Even if you don't use the Dragon Elephant Prajna Palm, with a casual blow, it is the power of the 36 oxen. If you cast a dragon elephant like a palm, you can reach the power of 49 bulls. Zhang Ruokan's strongest explosive power now is 49 ox, which is almost twice the strength of an ordinary Yellow Extreme Realm Great Perfection martial artist. Legend has it that the strongest strength that a warrior in the Yellow Extreme Realm can achieve is 100 bulls, known as the Extreme Realm Power, and no one can exceed this limit. No matter how powerful the martial arts you cultivate, no matter how strong your physique is, it is impossible to exceed that limit. In fact, Zhang Ruokan had never seen anyone who could burst out with the power of 100 bulls in the Yellow Extreme Realm. It is possible to get infinitely close to 100 ox, and it is absolutely impossible to reach 100 ox in his last life. When he was at the peak of the Yellow Extreme Realm, he could only burst out with the power of 94 oxen. Young man, I have to say, you're almost catching up with my youth. The black giant cat said unashamedly. Zhang Ruokan gradually calmed down his excitement, glanced at the black giant cat, and said, of the 8 basic space inscriptions, I can now depict 6 of them: point-shaped inscriptions, horizontal inscriptions, longitudinal inscriptions, high-type inscriptions, linear inscriptions, and flat inscriptions. However, the remaining 2 inscriptions cannot be carved in any way. Do you know what's going on? What? You can already carve 6 inscriptions. How can it be so fast? The black giant cat shook its head vigorously, not believing Zhang Ruokan's words. In fact, before impacting the Great Pole of the Yellow Extreme Realm, Zhang Ruokan had already been able to depict 6 basic space inscriptions. How can 3 months of practice be fruitless? Zhang Ruokan directly took out 6 pieces of spirit paper, quickly carved it on the spirit paper with an inscription pen, and quickly carved out the 6 kinds of inscriptions and presented them on the spirit paper. The black giant cat crawled over, stared at the inscriptions on the 6 pieces of spirit paper, nodded, and said, amazing. Sure enough, there are 6 basic space inscriptions. Of the 8 basic inscriptions, you only have the Zhang-shaped inscription, and the shrinkage inscription, left to successfully depict it, right? In fact, it is also normal. The sheet-type inscription, and the shrink-type inscription, are much more difficult than other inscriptions, and it is impossible to depict them so easily. Young man, do you have any jade on you? Jade. Zhang Ruokan was a little puzzled, but he still took out a jade wrench on his thumb, put it in the palm of his hand, and asked, what do you want jade for? The black giant cat glanced at the jade wrench, nodded, and said, "The jade quality is not bad, and it can be used for refining weapons." Quote. Refinery. Zhang Ruokan said. The black giant cat said, "That's right, it's a refining weapon. You've learned the 6 basic spatial inscriptions, and you can start refining the simplest space, like true martial weapon, the space ring. In the world, only you can refine it. What is the space ring?" Zhang Ruokan asked. The black giant cat continued, "It's to create a separate space in the ring. If your spiritual power and cultivation are strong enough, you can even use a ring to mount a mountain in a world. Of course, with your current cultivation, being able to carve out a space of 1 cubic meter is already remarkable." In the previous life, Zhang Ruokan had seen a treasure called the Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag, which seemed to be just a palm-sized bag, but it could hold a mountain. The Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag is an extremely precious treasure, and there are no more than 10 pieces in the entire Kunlun realm. It is said that it was handed down from the Middle Ages and was made by a saint. There are also many refiners who want to imitate the Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag, but all of them end in failure. Zhang Ruokan was the son of Emperor Ming in his last life, and he was well informed, otherwise, he would not have known that there were such treasures as the Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag in the world. Quote. Wouldn't it be exactly the same as the characteristics of the Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag to carve out a separate space inside the ring? Zhang Ruokan was a little surprised. The black giant cat said. The Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag is a space treasure refined by the Sumeru holy monk, and in your time, even if there are still space treasures left, the number must be very small, and each one is extremely precious. It's not surprising that the Sumeru Mixed Yuan Bag was actually refined by the holy monk of Sumeru. I'll also try to see if I can refine a space treasure. Zhang Ruokan was a little excited. If he could really refine a space treasure, he could take out a random piece and sell it for a sky-high price. He pinched the inscription pen in his hand, mobilized the true qi in his body, and injected it into the inscription pen. The inscription pen immediately emitted a white brilliance, and a white ray of light extended from the tip of the pen and entered the inside of the jade wrench. Zhang Ruokan carefully controlled the inscription pen, and carved the basic space inscription on the inside of the jade wrench. The engraving of inscriptions is an extremely detailed thing that consumes a lot of mental energy. Quote. Wow! The first inscription was successfully depicted. Zhang Ruokan made persistent efforts and soon successfully carved the second inscription. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth. When all the 6 inscriptions are successfully depicted, a faint halo appears on the surface of the jade wrench, and wisps of white lines shuttle on the surface of the wrench. After a few moments, the halo disappeared, and the white lines sank into the wrench. Quote. The portrayal was successful. Zhang Ruokan immediately injected a true qi into the jade wrench. On the surface of the jade wrench, another layer of halo and lines appeared. Zhang Ruokan poked his finger over, feeling that his whole hand seemed to be inside the ring. Quote. It worked. The space inside the jade wrench finger is about 1 cubic meter. This spatial ring contains 6 inscriptions, and it belongs to the 3rd order true martial weapon. Zhang Ruokan was overjoyed. You know, this is the first time he has refined the space ring, and he has successfully refined it. The black giant cat said. Don't get complacent too early. You've only learned the 6 basic spatial inscriptions now, and you can't control the size of the space you open up. When you learn the Zhang-shaped inscription and the shrink-shaped inscription, when the time comes, the space size of the space ring you refine will definitely be more than 1 cubic meter. Moreover, you are only carving inscriptions on the jade wrench now, and those inscriptions are not stable, and they may dissipate with a slight touch. You must use the method of refining the weapon to refine the spatial ring with flames, so that the inscription in the spatial ring will be more stable. If you don't master the heat well, you're likely to destroy the spatial ring. Zhang Ruokan nodded and said, I'll go to the inscription guild now, borrow Zorn's refining furnace, and completely refine the space ring. Wait a minute, I'm going to go out too. The black giant cat kicked its legs on all fours, and with a whoosh, it flew out of the inner space of the space-time crystal. Zhang Ruokan looked at the black giant cat standing in the room, frowned slightly, and decided to take it back to the Chenkin divine wood diagram. The black giant cat was cunning, and he could see Zhang Ruokan's inner thoughts at a glance, and immediately lay on the ground and cried, "Young man, this seat has been imprisoned in the Chenkin divine wood diagram for 100,000 years, even if he has made a big mistake, he has already atoned for his sins. I'm just a cat, I long for freedom, I want a new life. Meow. Think about it again, if it weren't for the guidance of this seat, would you have been able to open up the chakras? If it weren't for the guidance of this seat, you would have been able to refine the spatial ring." Zhang Ruokan thought for a while and said, "Okay. I won't take you back to the Chenkin Shenmu diagram for the Te being, but you must follow me at all times. That's nature." The black giant cat danced with excitement and rolled on the ground. Outside the room, there was the sound of footsteps. "Ninth brother, are you still in retreat and cultivating?" Jujun advocates Yuxi's voice. Zhang Ruokan pushed open the door, walked out, saw the 9 county lords standing outside, and said, "Ninth sister, what's the matter with you?" Today, the lord of the 9 counties was dressed very beautifully, with a white skirt studded with silver silk threads, long jet black hair tied on the top of his head, a slender jade waist wrapped around a cyan belt, and a jade sword in his hand. When the 9 counties lord saw Zhang Ruokan, he was immediately overjoyed and said, "I heard that your cultivation has broken through to the extreme position of the yellow extreme realm, so I want to come and compete with you." After the year-end assessment, less than 2 months have passed. The 9 county lords would never have thought that Zhang Ruokan had not only broken through to the middle pole, but also reached the Great Pole. Zhang Ruokan said, "It seems that ninth sister, your cultivation has also made a breakthrough and reached the Great Pole of the Yellow Extreme Realm." The 9 counties lord shook his head and said, "How easy is it to reach the Great Pole of the Yellow Extreme Realm? I've only reached the pinnacle of the middle pole now, but I've cultivated my sword intent to the realm of, the sword goes with my heart. Even if I haven't reached the Great Pole rank yet, I can already defeat the Great Pole warriors." Zhang Ruokan nodded. It was indeed not an easy task to be able to cultivate to the realm of, sword walking with your heart, at such a young age. Of course, the 9 counties lord and Lin Qishan are only in the realm of the first level of the sword, but Zhang Ruokan still reaches the realm of the sword in the advanced level, and there is no comparison at all. With a single move, Zhang Ruokan can defeat them. Zhang Ruokan said, "But I don't have time to discuss with the 9th sister now, I want to go to the Inscription Guild first." "It's okay. I'll go to the Inscription Guild with you, and I'll take my Cloud Rabbit Moon car." The beautiful eyes of the 9 county lord blinked slightly. It seemed that he was not here to learn martial arts from Zhang Ruokan at all, but just wanted to play with Zhang Ruokan. As she spoke, she walked over to Zhang Ruokan, grabbed Zhang Ruokan's arm, and did not shy away from it at all, looking very intimate. Although Zhang Ruokan felt a little awkward, it was not so awkward to think that she and herself were sisters and brothers, half-brothers, and had a close blood relationship. Meow. A fat black cat, like a walked out of the room. At the moment, the size of the black fat cat has become much smaller, just more than normal. The cat should be fattened by a circle. "Ninth brother, you also have a cat, it's so cute, what's its name?" The lord of the 9 counties immediately picked up the black fat cat and stroked its fur. Meow. The black fat cat deliberately pretended to be cute, rolled a pair of round eyes, stuck out its tongue, and gently added the jade fingers of the 9 county lords. Zhang Ruokan glanced at the black fat cat, shook his head gently, and said, "You just call it Xiao Hei." Blackie. The lord of the 9 counties stretched out his finger and gently pressed the top of the black fat cat's head. She didn't know how angry the black fat cat was at the moment. This seat was the emperor of slaughtering the heavens and killing the earth. How could she be called Xiao Hei? Insult. Definitely an insult to the emperor. Forget it. Bear with it. The cat is under the eaves and has to bow its head. So thought to the black fat cat's heart. Riding in the car of the Lord of the Nine Counties, Jong Ruokan came to the Inscription Guild again, borrowed Zorn's refining furnace, and sacrificed the space ring. The process of refining the space ring was surprisingly smooth, and soon the space ring was baked and turned into a finished product. Third order true martial weapon, space ring. During the entire refining process, Zorn had been standing aside, making a slugging sound in his mouth, and sighed. His Royal Highness the Ninth Prince is really a natural refining master, and the first time he sacrificed a vessel, he was able to control the flames to such a subtle level, which is really admirable. Jong Ruokan was not arrogant, and humbly asked, "My current control of the flames is about the same level as a few refiners. The pinnacle level of a first-grade refiner." Zorn said, "You must know that you have only been able to reach such a level by refining a true martial weapon for the first time, and I believe that you will soon be able to reach the level of a second-grade refiner." The second-grade refiner, in the Yunwu County country, can already have a quite remarkable status. If you are willing to take refuge in a certain sector family, you can immediately get the treatment of an elder, and even more noble than the status of ordinary elders. Zorn sighed again and said, "My spiritual power has actually reached the level of a third-grade refiner, but because my control over the flames is still a little worse, I can still only be regarded as a second-grade refiner." The spiritual power of a first-grade refiner is generally between the 15th and 20th levels. The spiritual power of a second-grade refiner is generally between the 20th and 25th levels. The spiritual power of a third-grade refiner is generally between the 25th and 30th levels. The spiritual power of a fourth-grade refiner is generally between the 30th and 35th levels. The first refining master of Yunwu County is the fourth-grade refiner, Kong Tong, whose spiritual power has reached the 34th level, and he can be called the first person in Yunwu County's spiritual power. Kong Tong's status in the Yunwu County country is not much weaker than that of the king of Yunwu County. If the king of Yunwu County asks her to refine weapons, he will also visit her in person and discuss with her as an equal. Because Kong Tong is not only a fourth-grade refiner, but also the president of the Yunwu County King Inscription Guild, and his status is very noble. Zorn asked curiously, "Your Royal Highness the Ninth Prince, what kind of instrument is the wrench you have refined? Could it be a defensive true martial weapon?" Jong Ruokan smiled and said, "This. Keep it a secret for now." After saying this, Jong Ruokan walked out of the refining room, thinking in his heart, and also went to buy a refining furnace. However, the best refining furnace in the royal city can only be bought in Qingshan Pavilion, and if you go to Qingshan Pavilion, you will definitely meet the sexy boss lady who can seduce a man's soul. Qinya is too coquettish, too charming, too tempting, and she wants to take the initiative to seduce him and lure him to commit crimes. Thinking of this, Jong Ruokan has a headache. When encountering such a demon girl, what man dares to say that he must be able to hold it? If I let the Lord of the Nine Counties go with me, the proprietress should be a little more restrained. Jong Ruokan nodded. Walking out of the refining room, Jong Ruokan saw the Nine-County Lord and Shan Shangling. Both of them are beauties of the country and the city, slim, pure and feminine, giving people a pleasing feeling. At this moment, they are all competing for Xiao He. "Blackie, you're going to play with the Lord of the County, aren't you?" the Lord of the Nine Counties said in a threatening tone. Shan Shangling's lips were red and her teeth were white, her eyes were full of smoke, and she said softly, "Xiao He, come with me, I will take you to eat the best delicacy." The Lord of the Nine Counties grabbed Xiao He's 2 ears, and Shan Shangling grabbed Xiao He's tail, competing with each other and pulling each other. They all want to take He away. Xiao He at this moment is simply miserable. If it weren't for the fear of being sealed into the scroll by Jong Ruokan again, it would have slaughtered these 2 human women. It's just disgusting. This seat is the emperor of slaughtering heaven and earth. When did it become a plaything for 2 women to compete for? Squeak. The iron door to the refining room opened. Seeing Zhang Ruokan and Zone coming out, the Lord of the Nine Counties and Shan Xiangling let go almost at the same time, and immediately returned to the image of a lady. The Lord of the Nine Counties gently arranged his sleeves and robes, looking noble and elegant. Shan Xiangling gently touched her long hair with her jade fingers, looking soft and pure. Bang! Xiao He fell heavily to the ground, falling all over the place, and his eyes were full of stars. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, who would have thought that two of the four beauties of Yunwu County would fight for a cat? Is it really just to compete for a cat? I have to say that the Lord of the Nine Counties and Shan Xiangling are both very beautiful and can be called the best in the world. Other warriors will be overjoyed to see one of them, and they can't wait to dedicate all their wealth to her, just to make the beauty smile. Zhang Ruokan didn't care whether they were one of the four beauties or not. He just said lightly, "Ninth sister, accompany me to Qingshan Pavilion, I'm going to buy a refining furnace." Okay. The Lord of the Nine Counties immediately picked up Xiao He on the ground. With a somewhat proud look, the corners of his eyes were raised, and he glanced at Shan Xiangling. His Royal Highness the Ninth Prince, Xiangling is also going to Qingshan Pavilion for a trip. I wonder if I can go with you. Shan Xiangling's voice was soft, with a somewhat ethereal tone. Zhang Ruokan didn't feel anything wrong, so he agreed. The Inscription Guild and the Qingshan Pavilion of Kashi were very close, so the three of them did not take the carriage, but walked to the Qingshan Pavilion. What Zhang Ruokan didn't expect finally happened. You must know that the Lord of the Nine Counties and Shan Xiangling are both beautiful and moving, and they are the dream goddesses of many warriors. Their suitors are numerous, enough to line up from the Inscription Guild to the gates of the royal city. Usually, it is difficult to see one of them, but today, the two stunning beauties actually followed behind a teenager, which naturally caused a huge sensation in the martial arts city. That's not the beloved daughter of the sect master of the Red Cloud sect, one of the four beauties of the younger generation of the Yunwu County Kingdom, Shan Xiangling. It's so beautiful, it's like a fairy coming out of a picture. Who is the woman standing in the single girl? Her beauty doesn't seem to be below that of a single girl. You don't even know the Lord of the Nine Counties. The Lord of the Nine Counties is a beauty on the same level as Shan girl, and in the royal city, she has countless suitors, and most of them are noble, and their martial arts cultivation is high. On a pavilion not far away, two young men sat opposite each other, and also glanced at Zhang Ruokan and the three of them who walked below. Lu Chengfeng's eyes were fixed on Zhang Ruokan's body. His eyes were cold, and he said, Shan Xiangling and the Nine County Lords will actually walk with him. When did such a young man emerge in the royal city? The man sitting opposite Lu Chengfeng, named Situ Jie, was Situ Linzhong's brother. Situ Jie said with a smile, "Brother Lu, you don't even know him. He is the ninth son of the king of Yunwu County. He only won the first place in the year-end assessment not long ago, and now, he is the hottest young genius in the royal city. What beauty doesn't love genius? What's more, the status of the ninth prince is noble and talented, so he is even more the object of admiration of young girls." Lu Chengfeng smiled faintly. Who is my Dao? It turned out to be him. What about the first place in the year-end assessment? It's just the first among the young generation of the royal family and the royal family, and in the young generation of the entire royal city, he is estimated to only be in the top 10. In the young generation of the entire Yunwu County Kingdom, he estimated that he would not even rank in the top 20. I remember that his cultivation was only a small pole in the yellow extreme realm. Whoa! Lu Chengfeng grinned slightly, looking very contemptuous. Situ Jie had seen the battle between Zhang Ruokan and Situ Linzhong, and knew that Zhang Ruokan was very powerful, and said, with the cultivation of the yellow extreme realm small pole, he can defeat the young genius of the yellow extreme realm great pole, and he is definitely not a person to be messed with. If his cultivation breaks through to the extreme position of the yellow extreme realm, it is estimated that he will be able to compete with the great perfection martial artist for a short time. Lu Chengfeng said, how is it possible? The meridians in the body of the great perfection martial artist are completely fixed, and the martial body is complete, which is not at all comparable to the martial artist of the great pole of the yellow extreme realm. Even if he breaks through to the extreme position of the yellow extreme realm, he will definitely not be able to make 3 moves in the hands of a great perfection martial artist. Situ Jie said with a smile. Brother Lu's martial arts cultivation is enough to rank in the top 3 in the young generation of Wangchang, and he has already reached the peak of the yellow extreme realm great perfection. Even if the 9th prince is really talented, before he reaches the yellow extreme realm great perfection, it is absolutely impossible for him to be Brother Lu's opponent. The so-called junior generation refers to martial artists under the age of 20. Lu Chengfeng reached the great perfection of the yellow extreme realm at the age of 17, except for the 7th prince who had the ability to defy the heavens, which was firmly pressed on his head. None of the other young geniuses is his opponent. Lu Chengfeng showed a smug smile on his face, and said sneeringly, "It's a pity that the 9th prince is still too weak, otherwise, he would be a good opponent. With his current cultivation, I am not interested at all." Situ Jie smiled. Brother Lu is only interested in Miss Xiangling, right? It's a pity that Miss Xiangling seems to like the 9 princes more. If Brother Lu really likes Miss Xiangling, you have to take the initiative, otherwise, she will become the woman of the 9 princes. Humph. With the status of this son in Wuxi Chenjuang, it may not be much worse than the 9th prince. Wanting a woman, isn't it a matter of words? Lu Chengwen ducked. Lu Chengfeng's father, Lu Xuanchen, is the helmsman of Wuxi Chenjuang in Yunwu County. Wuxi Chenjuang has strong financial resources, and there are countless strong people in the circle. It can be said that Lu Xuanchen has a fairly large force in his hands, controlling the economic lifeline of Yunwu County. Lu Chengfeng is the son of Lu Xuanchen, and in the younger generation, he is naturally a figure like calling for wind and rain. If he really wanted to get Shan Xiangling, he only needed to convey his meaning to the sect master of the Qian sect, and the sect master of the Qian sect would definitely happily marry his daughter to him. If you climb to the Wuxi Chenjuang, it will only be good for the Qian sect, and there will be no harm. However, Lu Chengfeng didn't want to marry Shan Xiangling, he just wanted to play with it, just like playing with a prostitute girl. With his identity and martial arts talents, he already had a better marriage partner. It's just the daughter of a sect master, just use it to sleep, and when you get tired of playing, you just throw it away. Qi City, Qingshan Pavilion. Qin Yaber naked snow-white delicate body, lying comfortably in the bath hewn out of jade. In the bath, it was a milky white liquid, emitting a faint white coldness, completely enveloping her bumpy and delicate body. Her breasts and hips are plump, her jade waist is slender, her legs are straight, and her whole delicate body looms in the cold mist, which is particularly attractive. If a man sees such a scene, he has to spurt blood. At this moment, Mo Hanlin was sitting outside the bath. His whole body was tense, and he didn't dare to look into the bath at all, and said in a trembling voice, "Chief Helmsman, half of the finances of Wuxi Chenjuang in Yunwu County have been eaten away by us, and it is no longer possible to fight with us. Should we take action against Lu Xuanchen and completely disintegrate the distribution of Wuxi Chenjuang in Yunwu County?" Qinya squinted her beautiful eyes, her long eyelashes trembled slightly, and droplets of water fell. Her crystalline, rosy lips moved slightly, and she said, "No hurry. The strength of Wuxi Chenjuang is still very strong, not just as simple as it seems on the surface. Moreover, if we make a move against the Wuxi Chenjuang, the official forces of the Yunwu County Kingdom will definitely intervene. The king of Yunwu County will not allow the economic lifeline of Yunwu County to be controlled by us. Besides, the black market has long wanted to make a move against the Qian Zhuang of Wuxi City. Let them fight first. We just hid in the shadows and waited for the right time." Mo Hanlin nodded lightly. Da. Footsteps rang out. A maid walked in, bowed in the direction of the bath, and said, "Boss lady, His Royal Highness the 9th Prince has come to Qingshan Pavilion, and he wants to buy a 7th Order True Martial Treasure level refining furnace." Mo Hanlin was already drenched in a cold sweat sitting here. How could he let go of this opportunity? He immediately stood up and said, "Boss, I'll go and receive him." Wait, since it is His Royal Highness the Ninth Prince, how can the slave family not go to receive it in person? Chinya opened a pair of beautiful eyes, and immediately walked out of the bath, wrapping a layer of red tulle around her body, wrapping the seductive jade body. Grains of fragrant water slid down from the white jade back and fell on the jade. Zhang Ruokan was the first man who was not tempted by her. His mental power and will were definitely far beyond ordinary people, and Chinya was very interested in him. Moreover, she suspected that there was a super strong person behind Zhang Ruokan, otherwise, Zhang Ruokan would not have been able to reach the small pole of the Yellow Pole realm within 3 months. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chapters.